Seni çok özledim.
Ben de. Sensiz her gün zor geçti.
Bir daha ayrılmayalım.
Söz veriyorum.
Seni çok özledim.
Ben de bir tane. Sen benim için çok önemlisin. Sensiz ben hiçbir şeyim.
Episode 49 of Arafta is not just another chapter, it is the moment where everything finally begins to break. Unlike typical dramatic episodes that rely on sudden explosions, this one builds its intensity slowly, creating a deep emotional pressure that grows with every scene. From the very beginning, there is a clear shift in atmosphere. The silence between Etz and Mercan is no longer empty, it is filled with meaning, tension, and unspoken truths. Even when they stand close to each other, emotionally they feel more distant than ever before. The most important change is that now, both of them are aware of the truth, even though neither is ready to speak it aloud. Etz, who once controlled every situation with confidence and careful planning, is now visibly losing his grip. In earlier episodes, he was always one step ahead, always prepared, and always in control of the narrative. However, in this episode, we see a completely different side of him. His actions lack certainty, his decisions are unclear, and his fear is no longer hidden. It is evident in his expressions, in his hesitation, and in the silence that replaces his usual confidence. Deep down, Etz understands that this time he cannot escape the truth. More importantly, his fear is not only about losing Mercan, but also about facing himself and the consequences of his actions. In contrast, Mercan undergoes one of the most powerful transformations in the story. This is the strongest and most self-aware version of her character so far. She is calm, but not weak, silent, but not confused, distant, yet fully conscious of everything happening around her. Unlike before, she is no longer reacting emotionally or waiting for explanations. Instead, she has reached a point where she is making decisions based on her own understanding of the truth. This shift changes the entire dynamic between the two characters. For the first time, Etz is no longer in control, Mercan is. Her quiet strength and emotional independence make the distance between them feel even more real and painful. One of the most compelling aspects of this episode is the shift in power. Previously, Etz held emotional dominance while Mercan followed, trusted, and believed in him. Now, that balance has completely reversed. Mercan stands at the center of the story, stable and grounded, while Etz struggles to maintain his position. This reversal adds a powerful dramatic layer, showing that true strength does not come from control, but from accepting reality. As the episode progresses, the presence of the truth becomes increasingly undeniable. It appears in subtle moments, unfinished sentences, lingering glances, and heavy silences. Although there is no direct confession, the emotional weight of the truth is felt in every scene. The tension continues to rise throughout the episode, creating an almost suffocating atmosphere. Every interaction feels like it could lead to a major revelation, yet the truth remains unspoken. This deliberate delay makes the experience even more intense, as the audience is left anticipating the inevitable. A key turning point occurs when it seems like everything is about to be revealed, a moment filled with hesitation, eye contact, and almost spoken words. However, even then, both Etz and Mercan choose silence. This decision highlights a powerful realization: they are no longer searching for the truth, they already know it. What they are avoiding is the moment that will force them to confront it openly. On a deeper level, Episode 49 explores strong psychological themes such as fear, guilt, and acceptance. Etz represents the fear of facing consequences and the internal struggle of avoiding reality, while Mercan symbolizes the strength that comes from accepting the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Between them lies the true meaning of Arafta, a state of being caught between two realities, between love and pain, and between truth and silence. By the end of the episode, although no major confrontation has occurred, everything has fundamentally changed. The distance between Etz and Mercan is no longer just emotional, it has become real and irreversible. Ultimately, Episode 49 delivers a powerful message: sometimes, the most painful moment is not when the truth is revealed, but when it is already known and yet remains unspoken. In that silence, emotions begin to fade, connections start to break, and love slowly disappears. And once that love is gone, no truth, no matter how honest, can ever bring it back. Episode 49 also stands out because it marks the beginning of irreversible emotional consequences for both Ets and Mercan. This is no longer a phase where misunderstandings can be easily fixed or emotions can be reset. Instead, every decision, every silence, and every look now carries long-term weight. The episode makes it clear that both characters are no longer living in uncertainty, they are living in awareness. The danger is no longer the secret itself, but the moment it finally becomes impossible to hide. Another important layer in this episode is Ets's internal conflict becoming more visible than ever before. He is no longer just a man trying to protect his secrets, he is a man trapped by them. His emotional breakdown is not loud or dramatic, it is silent and psychological. The more he tries to maintain control, the more unstable he becomes. This creates a powerful contrast between his outer silence and inner chaos. For the audience, this is the moment where Et stops feeling like a manipulator and starts feeling like someone who is emotionally collapsing under the weight of his own choices. At the same time, Mercan's transformation is not just emotional strength, it is emotional clarity. She is no longer confused by love or blinded by hope. Instead, she is observing everything with a calm but painful understanding. What makes her character powerful in this episode is not aggression or confrontation, but her ability to detach emotionally while still feeling deeply. This detachment does not make her cold, it makes her dangerous in an emotional sense, because she no longer reacts the way Et expects her to. Episode 49 also introduces a very subtle but important theme, the death of illusion. Everything that Et's built emotionally, his explanations, his silence, his control, is slowly collapsing. Mercan is no longer accepting emotional illusions, she is looking at reality without filters. This is why every interaction between them feels heavier than before. Even when nothing is openly said, the truth is present in the atmosphere, creating constant psychological pressure. One of the strongest elements in this episode is how time feels slower in their interactions. Conversations are minimal, but every second feels stretched. This is a storytelling technique that increases emotional tension, making the audience feel the weight of every pause. The drama does not rely on action, but on anticipation. The viewer is constantly waiting for the breaking point, but the episode intentionally delays it, increasing emotional frustration and engagement. By the final part of episode 49, it becomes clear that both Ets and Mercan are standing at the edge of a final emotional collapse. They are not strangers anymore, but they are also not together in any emotional sense. They exist in a fragile space where love still exists, but trust is completely broken. This creates a dangerous emotional balance where even a single truth spoken out loud could permanently